And a very good afternoon to everybody today on LA12 Live Streams podcast. Great pleasure. I'm going to be introducing Ulverston's head coach, Gary High. And to have a bit of a chat with you today, Gary. How was things today, Gary? All right?
Yeah, all good, mate. 12 o'clock finish from work, so good stuff. Happy days.
Yeah, it's good to see you sober as well, pal. It really is good to see you sober. Right, kick that habit. So, guys, we'll just kick it off. Just a little bit about your family, about you.
About me, so I live in Dalton. I live with my partner Claire and my son Noah, who is well known with the lads at Ulverston. He lives down in Warrington. He's in the reserve grade at Warrington Wolves. I started head coach. I took over midway through last season. John Stevenson was head coach, only for a couple of years, for whatever, for reasons outside of rugby league. He had to call it a day. So I took over midway through last season. 100% Barton Townley record.
What can I say about that? Well, that's one of the colours. So we'll certainly cover that one, guys, a little bit later.
Yeah. I'm not sure about my record in the league wasn't great, but yeah. So yeah, that's a bit about me, really. Nothing
so
exciting.
Just tell us about I don't know about it. Just tell us about your coaching journey, then, mate. How you set off?
My coaching journey started back when Noah was a 6-year-old with Dalton Dragons. So I took him up there, ended up helping out a little bit. The lad who was coaching it, I don't know whether I'm getting a bit of a complex here now because I went and helped out. Then that coach left, so I ended up looking after the kids. And it's a bit of a theme goes through the rest of this.
There's a theme. There's a thread going through. There's a thread.
Yeah, there's a theme. Yeah. So I ended up looking after a load of kids at Dalton. Worked with them from the age of sort of 6-7 years old through to under 11s, and then it was that point there where I kind of thought, do you know what, I don't want to coach my own son anymore. Had a bit of a crack with a guy I knew down at Wigan, St Jude's, and made a bit of a decision with the family to move Noah down there. So Noah moved to Wigan St Jude's. I probably spent 6 months on the sideline, eating bacon buns, putting loads of weight on, drinking coffee. The coach from there left for reasons, probably me. So it was one of those, because I was there every week. I kind of held my hand up and said, "Look, I'm happy to help out." The guy that had agreed to sort of do the head coach, an old guy, a fella called Terry, great bloke. But one of them fellas, he has all the kit in the back of his van, there every week. You know what I mean? Brilliant bloke.
Like Jeff Hurrell.
Yeah. But I think Terry's still playing Masters. I think he's about 184 years old, Terry. So he's still playing Masters down there. Yeah, but he called me and he's like, "Mate, I don't do this head coach stuff. You'll have to do it." So I ended up head coach of the under 11s at Wigan St Jude's, and I followed that through until Noah was 16. Obviously, then he finished his journey in the community game. So he's now with Warrington. So I had a bit of a probably 12-month, 18-month time off from coaching. Had a bit of a crack with John Stivvy one night, who said, more than welcome to come down and help out. So I ended up sort of helping pre-season last year, kind of in and out, helping out, and then around mid-season, that changed. John had to move aside. He had, things, family commitments and stuff.
Yeah.
So then from there, I've been since then sort of head coach of the open age at Ulverston.
Fantastic. And we still don't blame you for signing all of Dalton, but there you go. So tell me about your new coaching team you got together.
Yeah, so we've kind of Mark Storrs. Mark Storrs was brilliant last season. So he had his groin injury, didn't he, Mark? So for a lot of last season, he was kind of my assistant coach. Did a lot. I have obviously commitments with my son down in Warrington. So then this season, sort of Mark's held his hand up to help as an assistant. And then we've had another guy come on board, a guy from Kendal Rugby Union, a guy called Rob Quarry. Very experienced rugby union coach. I was actually speaking to Stu Wilkie about him, who speaks very, very highly of him. Probably, through his own admission, Rob, he's got a lot to learn in terms of nuances of rugby league. It's like they're very, very similar games, but very, very different, aren't they? Rugby league and rugby union.
Yeah.
But you can just tell that he knows. You know, you can tell he can coach. Just from conversations with him and things. You can just tell he's a coach. You know, he knows. And once he gets to grips with the laws of rugby league, which are a lot less complicated than rugby union, is going to be good for us, is Rob. So yeah. And I've kind of said to Mark, look, you want to concentrate on playing. I want you to do that. So you concentrate on playing. But he's one of them guys, Mark, that if we're running drills and things, and I need him to just be involved but keep an eye on and give pointers, he's doing that, you know. So he's having conversations with the halfbacks and stuff. So yeah, Andy Burke-Chambers has helped a couple of times.
Yeah, that sounds really, really positive for the start of the season. I mean, what I don't want to really touch on is Mark Story coaching last season in his first game back, scored 2 tries and a drop goal to get us to win, because that just makes me balk. But maybe I'll talk to Mark about that. But I've just said it, having a shit. Oh, well, not to worry. Okay, so it's interesting about a new coaching team. So let's talk about the kind of culture you're trying to drive into the team.
Yeah, so I think driving culture is quite a difficult thing with an amateur team, because you've got a mix in such a diverse group of players. So we've got lads there that are mad keen on progressing, you know, want to win and all that kind of stuff. And then we've got a group of lads that are there just because the mates are playing, and you know, they don't want to sort of let go. But yeah, what I'm trying to do is, I've used this pre-season to identify my leaders, and I'll be honest with you, I'm almost there. So I've identified a group of leaders, and probably go back a little bit. So a few weeks ago, there was a Super League reserve grade team came to Ulverston, and they used our facilities just to do a bit of training there. And I was talking to a couple of the coaches on the touchline, and they started talking about this thing that we're looking into about cultural assassins and cultural architects, and it was quite interesting, really. So I did a bit of a Google on all this, and that's kind of it's give me a bit of direction, really, and try to identify who in the group are our cultural architects and who are going to be our leaders, and who our cultural assassins may be. And it sounds a bit harsh calling them cultural assassins, and I don't think people are doing things on purpose. But you've got your cultural architects, the ones that are driving everything, and the ones that are doing all the chat that we don't hear as coaches, and they're kind of my leaders. And then we've got the cultural assassins that I'm not saying they're deliberately in there to assassinate what we're trying to achieve, but for reasons of their own, you know, they're not the leaders within the group, I suppose, is the way to put it. But yeah, and you know, there was a bit of a thing. I've looked up sort of culture and how we can get a culture going, and I think sort of the way to look at it is, for me, leaders create your culture. Culture drives your behaviours, and your behaviours ultimately produce your results. So that's kind of where I'm looking at.
But I think you're right. I think you're right, Gaz. You know, it's really difficult when you've got all these different layers of players in the team that are, you know, have different views on life and whether or not they find the Xbox more important than and things like that. So no, I think it sounds as if you've got that one. You've got that right in your head. So
it's hard to nail down. It is hard to nail down this culture in an amateur club. But I'll be honest with you, I think we've got a very good culture. The lads are all. What we've got is a great group of mates. So you're always going to be able to drive a good culture from that sort of that in the background, you know.
Yeah. That's a good question. So we'll move it on a little bit. So over the last couple of years, we've probably driven more players to semi-pro rugby than any other club in the area. What's your views on that?
But you know, I'm glad you said this, because I was going to talk about it, and I totally agree. I think again, I'm sort of I'll class myself as a newbie to the club, so I'm not going to take any credit. You know, you guys that have been there, I think we go back to Phil Aki. Phil Aki was involved only a few years back. I'm on about the lads now that have gone through. So likes of Johnny Hutton, Tom Wilco, Chairs. He's gone. You know, 2 lads gone to work. We've got a guy at Barrow there, haven't we? And yeah, we're that club now, aren't we? Where everybody, especially Cumbrian clubs, are having a little bit of a look at us. And I think that's come from the coaching in the years gone by. But yeah, and I think we've still got some kids there that still may get picked up. I think Barrow, Barrow in particular, Crest is big on bringing local players into his side, and I get it because we're in the middle of nowhere, aren't we? So trying to get players to come and play for Barrow is pretty difficult. So, but yeah,
it's
I agree with you.
a little bit frustrating though, don't you think? Where we have clubs that are up in the conference levels, and it seems to be that they're dipping into Ulverston more than anywhere else.
Yeah, and I'm going to put my neck on the block a bit here. I personally think that from what I've seen, I think our strongest 17 beats any 17 in the area. I do think
I can go with that.
you know.
I can go with that.
I think we've got a very, very strong 17. Well, we won the Barton Townley Cup last year, and the semi-final. I wasn't involved in that, but they beat a very, very strong Millham side.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
I
think. Yeah, yeah. I watched it, and
I was the one that's screaming like Billy O'Bell. I don't know.
But yeah, it's a credit. It's a credit to everything the club's doing. I mean, I don't know. I'm not 100% the figures off the top of my head, but our youth section. I came through Ulverston's youth section, and it was massive. It was a really strong youth section, and then we lost it, didn't we?
We did.
And then
the
committee and everybody's done a load of work. We've now got the Wolverines up and running, so we've now got this production line of youngsters coming through the club, and hopefully.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to take it next as well. Is about the youth and about the excellent work that these younger end coaches are doing for us. What's your views,
Absolutely,
mate? Give us a few views.
Mate, having been there, done it, you give an awful lot of personal time up. You sacrifice a lot. I'd imagine that a lot of our youth coaches are coaching their own kids, which isn't the best thing to do. Christ, it almost leads to divorce at half the time. And it does though. It's mad. Oh yeah, and especially when you're driving 100 miles up and down the motorway, and But Claire could tell you some stories about what coaching your own kids. But yeah, and these they're unsung heroes, aren't they? If our game's going to survive, and especially at amateur level, without these youth coaches giving their time up to coach, let's face it, we've got 6-year-olds that are running around, and they're dealing with quite a unique environment where you've got kids there that we don't know what the backgrounds are. You've got kids there because their dads have dragged them down wanting to play rugby that maybe don't want to be there. You've got kids that absolutely love it. You've got kids that are very, very talented. You've got kids that, you've got to, let's face it, nowadays, our kids now have got very, very strong thumbs because they're like this all day, aren't they? Playing on PlayStations. And
glad you said that, Gaz. Yeah, glad you said that.
Yeah. So you've got these youth coaches that have got no S&C experience, but they're getting kids that they're having to teach how to run properly, how to move properly, and when they hand them through to the open age, giving them these core skills and stuff, it's important. But yeah, they're unsung heroes. Community.
I think you did right. And once again, we go on about culture, don't we? And we are how it's driven them from an early age as well. Discipline, getting these kids off the streets, teamwork.
Yeah.
All that stuff is absolutely great. I'll move us on from there then, Gaz. Okay, so we've got a couple of Aussie lads coming across. Exciting times, eh?
Met one of them last night.
Right, was he sober?
I just can't wait to unleash him, mate.
Right, okay.
Yeah, he's an absolute weapon. Like, yeah, you can just, when you look at someone, you just think, how to play rugby. It's just, yeah. Mark Stores, if he was on, he'd tell you he took him to the gym yesterday, and like Jack. So it's Jack who's arrived now. So Jack's here. Jack's warm up set on the bench press was Mark's personal best. So Mark was
Sorry
like, yeah,
about the
so
dogs, by the way, mate.
oh, it's all right, mate. He said, yeah, so Jack started warming up, and I'm looking at him thinking, that's my PB, that. So, yeah, is it, but
You know, and
he
I just
came out
think,
with,
yeah,
so,
go on, mate.
sorry, mate. Yeah, so we all went out for a bit of a bite to eat last night and welcomed him to the club. Really nice lad. Yeah, you know, he had a couple of babies with the boys, but yeah, you just look at him and you're just like, with the best, you know, in the nicest way. You know how to play rugby league and you know how to hurt people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I
So
can't wait to
that's
see him in
just,
action next week.
yeah,
He's going to be
looking
a
forward
yeah,
to that. Okay,
yeah,
looking forward. Let's look at next weekend. So Barrow Island, going to be a
yeah.
difficult team to unpick. We played them before when we were playing with the game management against us. I think it was in the final of the Barton Townley a couple of years back,
Mm.
and whilst we stuck with them for half an hour or so, after that they slowly, you know, game managed us out of the game. So without giving up too many little secrets, what's your tactics going to be there then, guys?
So yeah, I'll just touch on that game. So I watched that final, and you know, Jacko, absolute class player. You know, he made them tick, and that's I'm not disrespecting all the other lads that play for Barrow Island because they've got some really really good players there, and we're going to be up against it. But I think Jacko really really made that side tick, and they've lost a lot of experience with him not being in the side. But saying that, it's definitely not going to be underestimating them because you know underestimate teams at your peril. So yeah, we've probably sort of the way that we're preparing for this game is we've got I think we've got 23, 24 lads have held their hands up to play. Yeah, tactically, I think our middle we've got a really strong middle, but again with Jack coming over, it's working out where he's going to play, and he's one of them guys. I mean, it's a game, simple game, isn't it? Get the ball into your best player's hands and let them cause some damage. So we've got some old heads that are going to be playing. So it's
Excellent.
tactically flat and fast. You know, try and play quickly. But again, we've got to adapt to the new rules as well, which I'm sure you're going to touch on at some point.
I actually forgot about them.
Oh, did you? But that might, you know, that could be a big. We'll touch
Yeah.
on them, mate. So the new rules,
Yeah, we go.
you know, the new rules that are in place, they're going to be a key factor. I don't know, you know, I don't know what other clubs. I'm big on not worrying about what other people do, just worrying about what we do. And we've worked really, really hard on trying to get the new rules under our belt. Really, Mucker was brilliant. Mucker came down a couple of weeks ago. We ran a session. Mucker just jumped in and refereed. Basically, we just ran games and just played against each other.
Brilliant.
And we're getting we're getting good at it. To be honest, I've said to the lads, there's a couple of non-negotiables in there with terms of the rules. So the play the ball rule, make sure we get our foot on the ball, making sure our markers are square. The contact rule, so the new rule, contact below the armpit. I said, look, we're all got to adapt to that. You know, it's going to take.
Yeah.
We're not just going to be game one, be brilliant at it. We're going to take weeks
Both
and
sides
weeks.
will be the same, aren't they, guys?
Oh yeah,
Both sides will be the same.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's all, you know. But what we're working hard on is making sure we don't get frustrated with it. You know,
Yeah.
so we might get pinged for a few penalties, but let's not get frustrated. Just right, we've been pinged for a penalty. Switch on, defend the next set.
Okay, good stuff. Right, I'm going to finish off with a few other little bits and bobs as we
All
go
right,
through.
mate.
So, who's the biggest moaner at training?
Biggest moaner at training? Probably me. No. Biggest moaner at training? Bloody, that's a tough one, that. Because do you know what? They've been really good.
Nah, I can't believe it. There's going to be some in there.
Who bitches most? Come back to that one. Leave that one. Leave that thought there. Leave that thought there.
Best trainer.
Best trainer. Jesus Christ, putting me on the spot here. Best trainer. Well, I tell you, he's really impressed me with his attitude at training, right, and how hard he's worked. He's like James Daly. I don't know if you know James.
No.
He's worked big, tall, middle he is. So he's worked hard. He's worked very hard. But again, how do I single somebody out?
Easy.
Yeah, a young lad that's just come out of the under-16s, little lad called Louis. So this is a really good tale, actually. Little Louis just come out of the under-16s. We were doing a bit of a contact session last week, and so it was basically just carting the ball. It was just literally dogging it in, 1v2, just working on the new contact. And I looked to my left, and there was two middles lined up, and Louis, bearing in mind, just come out of the under-16s, and I'm like, "Are you all right carrying this ball?" And he went, "Yeah, give us the ball." And I was like, "Right, give him the ball."
Brilliant.
And he carried it hard, and I was like, "Mate, happy days." Yeah, that's so that's a really, it's not, I wouldn't class it as the best trainer, but that's the attitude.
Excellent. So I'm going to throw some names at you. Okay. And just give me what pops into your head first of all right? Josh Bayliss.
Nice tan.
Come on. Matty Stars.
So we've not really seen much of Matty this year, to be fair. I know he's got family commitments, but get your ass started training. There you are.
Yes. Ollie Wilkes.
Oh mate. Dark arts.
Eddie Goodson.
All right, Eddie. Bags and bags of potential, that boy. Loads of potential.
And you don't take him off when he's limping.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Les Saunders.
Yeah. Bags of Les Saunders. Oh, Jesus Christ. Les, well, what a man, isn't he? He's absolute leader. He loves doing the work that nobody else wants to do, does Les, doesn't
he? Yeah.
And
Will Coles.
Will Coles. Bench 9. That's what he wants to. That's what he said to me after Barton Town. He said, "I want to be a bench 9. That's where I'm best." So yeah, bench 9.
That's a very good one. All right then, guys. So, any final thoughts on the season coming up?
Final thoughts on the season coming up. Yeah, again, last season was a bit of a challenge, wasn't it? So it's a journey into the unknown again. We've got a couple of sides have come. I think have Hindley come down from the Prem. Hindley have come down from Hindley have come down from the Prem, so they're a bit of an unknown. I suppose everybody's an unknown, but I think we're in for a good season. I think if we keep working on everything that we've been working on, pre-season's been a lot about upskilling everybody, getting us in a position. We've done. I'll be honest, mate. We've done no shape at all, because what's the point if we can't pass and catch a ball properly? So we've worked really, really hard on quality. We've done an awful lot of, you've heard me say it a lot of times, making players comfortable with being uncomfortable. We've done loads of stuff about that. And we just continually striving to improve, mate. So this season, hopefully, will be retaining the Barton Town is number one priority, and improving our league position. We don't want to be fighting off relegation like we were last year, which we shouldn't have been. No. We're far better than that.
Yeah, we don't deserve that, guys. Absolutely don't deserve that. And that is just keeping that steady 13 that you can get week in, week out on that park, and then rotating subs, etc., isn't it? But it's keeping the guys fit and out there.
Yeah, definitely. And we've lost, Johnny Hutton was a big part, one a big key player. Yeah. We've lost him this year. Tom Wilco, we lost him halfway through last year and for the back end of the season, didn't we? Excuse me. So we've got some big boots to fill this year. Excellent. But let's see what Rob brings to the side. Rob Quarry, the guy that's jumped on the coaching team as well, because I think he's got an awful lot for me to learn from him anyways.
That's fantastic. Well, guys, look, thanks very much for your time today. I think we'll talk about a good half hour or something like that. Yeah. So once again, great luck for the season. I mean, I'll be there cheering you guys on.
Commentating, mate. Absolutely, mate. Definitely.
We're doing some commentary and taking the piss out of some of the players as well at the same time, no doubt.
Hey, got to be done, mate.
Yeah, okay, guys. Well, look, thanks very much for your time, and we'll close it down there.
No, thank you for your time, mate.
All right, and we'll see you down at the Barrow Island game. Dragley Beck, 24th, I think, isn't it?
24th.
Up the Ulverston.
Up the Ulverston, 2:00 kickoff. Get yourself there. Be there.